I needed to do something while we are waiting. Yeah, but it appears we are the only two people here, so.
Yes, it's like that. Others may join. All right. Good evening, viewers out there. It's a pleasure to have you join us tonight, where we'll be reading out a number of topics for discussion. With me in the studio is Barrister Ken Uswagu, the Special Assistant to the National Chairperson of the Labour Party, Senator Nenadi Usman. So please welcome to People's Parliament.
Thank you. And good evening to viewers all around the world.
All right. Before we go on with tonight's episode, where we're having a detailed discussion, I'll be taking us through what we have for today. Right. I'll be starting with the trending stories. But before the trending stories, this is Covenant People's Parliament, where we deal with socio-political issues as they affect the Nigerian people. On tonight's episode, electoral reform, stabilizing the Labour Party, challenges and prospects. Right, that's the episode for tonight, and we have with me in the studio Barrister Ken Oswagu, who will be having the elaborate discussions on trending stories. Number one, the trending stories Canadian courts blacklist APC and PDP as terrorist organization. Number two is the Federal High Court insists that Julius Abue's tenure has expired. Nigerians lambasted Remi Tinubu for 50,000 investment grants in Ekiti states. And number four on the item is Kaduna and Anambra off-cycle elections, implications for 2027. And number five, which is where we have APC Deputy National Chairman, Mustafa Saliu, caught with INEC beavers and INEC beavers machine and ballot box in his SUV in Adamawa State. And number six is by elections, vote buying reported across Nigeria. And number seven, which is last but not the least for tonight's trending story, is INEC opens voters card registration portal nationwide. Those are the trending stories for tonight. Barrister, glad to have you in the studio. I want to have your reaction in respect to the reform. We'll be having a discussion around the electoral reform. What you feel should be part of the proposals at the National Assembly, as well as the situation in the Labour Party and the prospects of what lies ahead of us. So thank you. So once I
Thank you so much.
You can unmute and have a discussion. We'll be first starting with the electoral reform. And what are those areas that you feel there is a lacuna currently in the electoral laws in the land? And going by the by-election that we just concluded, what are those areas that you want there should be stringent measures put in place in the electoral laws to guard against subsequent elections in the land? We saw how the off-cycle elections were marked by vote buying, not even in the hidden, but openly, where citizens and politicians are trading their votes. That's no more democracy, right? And these are some of the items I want us to have a look at, a critical review, and make a submission in that regard. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Right. Please go.
All right.
Yes,
I didn't hear most of what.
A quick reminder is that this program is being viewed live via Diaspora Digital Media globally. The world is tuned in to actually follow up on this program because it's an episode that comes up every 7 p.m. on daily basis between Mondays to Thursday. So others might join on Zoom, few others who have the link. But in the meantime, I want to have your holistic assessment of electoral reform. Thank you.
All right.
You can go on, please.
Before I go on, I need to.
Barrister, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Oh, okay. I think the network is a bit floppy, so I don't know if it is coming from my end here or from your end. But if you can hear me now, then I can carry on. You see.
Yes, carry on. I can hear you now.
Okay. I need to establish the fact that I am not here on my own accord. I'm here on a representative capacity. It was the interim national chairman that was supposed to appear here, but she's unavoidably absent for some reasons. She's not in the country at this time. For some reasons, she's not able to come. But because of the premium, because of the importance that she places on COPDEM and what you guys do, she decided that I have to be here to represent her. So and she has a prepared speech for this program, which she has given to me to deliver here. So I don't know if I am permitted to go outside of that speech.
Yes. Your video is muted. Can you unmute your video?
Oh, okay. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, so I was trying to say that because of the importance that the national chairman places on the activities of COPDEM, even though it was very tight for her to be here personally, she decided that I come represent her. And she has a prepared speech that she wanted to deliver at this program. And she has given that to me to deliver here. So what I'm saying is that I don't know if I am permitted to go outside of this prepared speech because I am not here on my own accord, like I said. I am here to represent the national chairman who has prepared a speech to be delivered on this program. And I think my duty here is to read that speech. Then maybe after reading the speech, if there are matters arising from there, then maybe you can take it up from there.
Yes, please go on.
All right. The topic.
Before you go on, please, we have joining us the national chairman of COPDEM, Prince Wampan Jr. Prince Wampan Jr., please, you're welcome to COPDEM People's Parliament.
Oh, thank you very much, Due Process and Comrade Ken. So please carry on. Thank you.
Good evening, National Chairman. Good evening. The topic of National Chairman's remark is stabilizing the Labour Party, challenges and prospects. Distinguished guests, respected youths of our great nation, ladies and gentlemen, I address you this evening not only as interim national chairman of the Labour Party, but also as a deeply concerned citizen of Nigeria, one who has lived through our shared history, continues to grapple with our present challenges, and remains hopeful about our collective aspirations for a better future. As you are aware, through the Labour Party, though the Labour Party was formally registered by INEC in 2002, it was in 2023 that the fortunes of our party changed dramatically. With the determination of the Nigerian people, especially our vibrant youth, the Labour Party shook the foundations of the political establishment. We secured 1 governorship seat, 8 senatorial seats, 34 seats in the House of Representatives, and tens of seats in various state houses of assembly. That unprecedented performance was a loud testament to the people's desire for genuine change. Although INEC did not declare our presidential candidate victorious, millions of Nigerians did not agree with that outcome. We pursued justice up to the Supreme Court, but the apex court, in its wisdom, sustained INEC's controversial pronouncement. As a law-abiding party, we respected the finality of the judgment, even though we strongly disagreed with it. Determined to learn from that experience, we returned to the drawing board to strengthen the structures of our party. Sadly, our internal reorganization was soon disrupted by an avoidable crisis. A former national chairman, whose tenure had long expired, attempted to force himself back into office. This matter also went up to the Supreme Court, and in a landmark judgment on 4th April 2025, the Apex Court affirmed that his tenure had indeed lapsed and unequivocally validated my leadership of the party. Unfortunately, despite the clarity of that judgment, a few individuals working in connivance with external forces have continued to wage war against the Labour Party. Ironically, these outside forces are the same forces who benefited from the Supreme Court's ruling against our presidential petition, but now openly encourage disobedience to the court's judgment on our leadership. Let me be clear, this is not just an attack on the Labour Party. It is part of a broader attempt to destabilize virtually all opposition parties in Nigeria. Thankfully, the confusion was further laid to rest on Friday, 15th August 2025, when a federal high court in Abuja reaffirmed the expiration of the former chairman's tenure, aligning with both the earlier Supreme Court judgment and INEC's own affidavit. Having provided this background, let me assure you that there is hope. The Labour Party, under my leadership, is actively working to reposition itself as a strong and competitive platform ahead of 2027. The National Executive Council of our great party has approved several strategic programs. Among them are, number one, a comprehensive membership registration and revalidation drive with a target of enrolling 10 million new members. Two, a series of world, local government, and state congresses that will culminate in a national convention to elect a substantive leadership. It is our firm commitment that these processes will be completed before the end of this year, ensuring that the Labour Party is well prepared to contest and win in 2027. Beyond the leadership tussle, one of the major challenges we faced recently was the wave of defections by some of our elected officials. While intimidation from the ruling party cannot be dismissed for these defections, we must also accept some responsibility. The meteoric rise of the Labour Party in 2023 meant that in many cases, candidates were fielded without thorough background checks. Going forward, this will change. Part of our reforms is to ensure that only individuals who genuinely share the philosophy and values of the Labour Party will fly our flag. Our platform will not be a mere stepping stone for opportunists, but a home for patriots committed to service and transformation. Yes, we have faced setbacks, but the Labour Party is resilient, and we are already turning the tide. With the reforms being implemented, we are poised not only to replicate, but to surpass the successes of 2023. In conclusion, I urge you all to move beyond passive observation. Dedicate yourselves to active participation in shaping the future of our party and our country. I remain profoundly grateful for your faith in the Labour Party and for the trust you have reposed in my leadership. I also thank COPDEM for its unwavering support and for providing this important platform for engagement. May God bless you all. May God bless the Labour Party, and may God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that wonderful release from the national chairperson of the Labour Party. It's relieving to get to hear about the current situation in the Labour Party, and viewers out there, of course, I will believe are following up on the story. So tonight we'll be looking at having given the speech, of course, that should have resolved the second part of tonight's story, episode rather. So we'll rather concentrate on the electoral reform, and you are at liberty, of course, if you want to still discuss further on the Labour Party and all that. So tonight we are looking at electoral reform. The just concluded by-elections have exposed further need for us to have a more holistic electoral reform that will nip all forms of vote buying, manipulations at the polls, as well as the collation center. Nigerians are looking at a situation whereby the idea of collation center will be eliminated from the chain of election process. Take, for instance, if elections are conducted at the polls and the results are uploaded directly from the polling unit, it's needless manually picking up materials and still proceeding to the to the coalition center, knowing fully well that the original result will have been uploaded. So, what is your reaction in this regard, having to do with electoral? Barrister, Barrister Ken. You are muted.
Yes, please. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here.
All right. So please go on. I want to have your contribution on electoral reform. What are the loopholes that you have observed, and what are the changes that you want to see introduced to the to the electoral laws guiding election going forward into 2027? Do you copy that?
You see, for us, are you hearing me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yes, loud and clear.
Yeah, okay. You see, people have been clamoring, and rightly so, that there should be an electronic transfer of results from the polling units, into the INEC portal or server. But you see, for us at the Labour Party, I think we are being very conscious not to overemphasize on this electoral reform, because you and I know that this 10th National Assembly is not going to embark on any electoral reform. And if we overemphasize on this, it's a morale dampening for a lot of our supporters across Nigeria, because when you overemphasize on this and this is not carried out, it might look to people that a genuine result is not going to be produced if electoral reform doesn't take place. And that is a wrong narrative, because this same electoral act we have today was what was used in 2023. And what torpedoed that process, a Labour Party was coasting to victory with the same process in place until human factor setting. So even the reform that people are clamoring that should take place, when people who are centrifugal forces, who are bent on changing the will of the people, when they are determined to do that and the people allow them to do that, there is no foolproof, there is no system in place that people don't have a way of knowing how to go around it. So for us, of placing so much emphasis on this electoral reform, for me, it has a way of boomeranging on us, on the targets that what we are targeting for 2027. Like I said, Labour Party put out a strong showing in 2023 election, and it was this electoral act that took us to where we were. In short, without mincing words, I can tell you, even though the Supreme Court has given a verdict, like the national chairman rightly said in her speech, that we did strongly disagreed with the verdict of the Supreme Court because we believe that we won that election. But as a matter of fact, the Supreme Court is the highest court in the land, and they have spoken, and we have accepted that, you know. But it was that electoral reform, it was not electoral act, the one we have today, that produced that result. So for me, there are one or two things that can be fine-tuned in what we have today. But I keep saying that we should not dwell so much on this because it has a way of making the voters, the electorate, think that if this is not done, then going to vote is a waste of time because the APC or the ruling party will just have their way. And it is not true. And you and I know that this assembly, this 10th assembly, headed by Senator Godswill Akpabio, is not going to embark on anything called electoral reform. They're not going to do that. So let's not dissipate our energy discussing something that will end up setting us back, demoralizing our people, discouraging them from coming to vote because electoral reform is not carried out, electoral act is not amended, and in that case, it is a waste of time for anybody to come to vote. So that is our position on this matter. What we have now can deliver credible results. What matters is the resolve of the Nigerian people, the determination of the Nigerian people to cast their votes and ensure that whoever they have cast their votes for will be declared the winner. In the last election, everybody went home. We cast our votes and everybody went home. And in the dead of the night, they decided to declare who they wanted to declare the winner of the election. So I think that's my opening salvo on this.
Thank you for that speech on the electoral reform. As a political party, we don't want to dabble in order to avert the psychological effect it will have on members. Should it be that the electoral reform did not see the light of the day? Of course, that's wise. But we, from the civil society angle, we will continue to make demands on the National Assembly to implement the electoral reform that will cut all forms of fears being manifested by Nigerians, especially when it has to do with the miracles that happen at the collation center. We want a situation where collation center will be off from the chain of electoral process, where election results will be transmitted live from directly from the polling units. And we have here on Zoom the national chairman of COPDEM, Prince Francois Jr. Please, we want to have your contribution on the situation of the electoral reform and what you want to see being added to the electoral reform items currently at the National Assembly. Prince Francois Jr., please, you have the mic.
Thank you very much, Due Process. And a big thank you to our guest on the program today, Barrister Ken. It's really a pleasure meeting you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I appreciate the fact that even though the interim national chairman of the Labour Party is not available, but she has respected COPDEM this much to actually delegate you to represent her. So we are seeing both you and her as you speak. So please, our regards and appreciation for that kind consideration, sir.
Thank you so much.
And before I touch on my opinion on electoral reforms, I have a question which I would like to hear your opinion on it. One of the key things that had negatively impacted on membership of the Labour Party is the constitution of the Labour Party itself, not as a document in totality, but the fact that it gives overreaching powers to the national chairman, in as so much that we believe that the problems in the Labour Party giving by Saburi that very seat And he exploiting on that very part of the constitution that says only the national chairman, through the secretary, can call for any NWC meeting or the meeting of those that are supposed to actually bring out direction for the party. It has prolonged it for so long, and still in court probably, because we know how he operates. We have seen his antecedents, which is, from our perspective, somewhat not very gentlemanly. What is the Labour Party planning to do to make the Constitution a bit more democratic, in as much as it doesn't give too much power to the seat of the national chairman? That's my question, sir.
All right, thank you so much. You see, as it stands today, I don't even know the constitution that you're quoting, because Barrister Bure made a whole mess of the party. There are so many constitutions of the party flying around. There is 2023. The convention that he had in Nnewi, he produced a constitution, 2023 constitution. He produced, there is 2019 constitution. So some people are still peddling 2015 or thereabout. So there are so many constitutions being peddled around. But I understand what you're saying. There is a constitution drafting committee that is will come on board. Like you said, like you rightly heard in national chairman's remarks, there is a national convention that is coming up very soon, and they are creating committees that will usher in that national convention from the congresses to convention. And part of they will start with membership and revalidation committee. Part of the committees they're about creating now is constitution drafting committee. And I can tell you that this concern you raised now is part of what is going to be addressed when the constitution drafting committee it begins their work. So I can assure you that it is being addressed, and I don't want to preempt their work because I don't know for now who and who are going to make up that committee. But I know that the neck of the party, the last time they met on 18th of July, Constitution Drafting Committee is one of the things that they approved that they are going to put in place. And I am pretty sure that the concern you raise now is one of the things that they are going to touch.
Thank you very much, sir. That's
Right,
very satisfactory. At least many Nigerians and obedients who are not even members of the Labour Party will be quite relieved if such a document will come to bear. And I'm sure it is going to add to the rekindling of hope within the party itself. And on the second part, sir, there are fears that looking at the Nnewi Convention was called by Aburi. He wasn't there alone. He had quote unquote massive support or representation of state Labour Party executives. Now, some have expressed fears that even though he might not be the national chairman, and we believe that Labour Party will be repositioned properly, but then they will still be within the party. How are we sure, since we're suspecting everywhere, like in the national, in the mainstream media, and also in the grassroots, that they are still members of the party and is probably being sponsored? Some members of the Labour Party are being sponsored to cause havoc within the party. How do you, as a party, intend to deal with such issues in the future to make the Labour Party once again the darling of the masses, with those people still around within the party?
Well, you see, in political party, it's always the more the merrier. So I don't think anybody is chasing anybody out of Labour Party. But in beginning, straight answer to in beginning with the Nnewi Convention you made mention of, I think we are as a political party is post April 4, 2025. That was when the Supreme Court judgment came on board. So whatever transpired, I agree with that. And Abure's tenure has elapsed, you understand? So that is done and dusted. We have transited to a new era where Nenadi Usman, Senator Nenadi Usman is the national chairman now. Now, when we still have such characters within our midst, you see, in every political party, there will always, you can't expect everybody to always agree with you or to be on the same page. So you will always have people who don't agree in one way or the other. But the most important thing is that we are guided by some set of rules, and the courts, we have presented some of these issues in the court, and the court validated our position. So I don't think we will go, the national chairman made a speech on extended the olive branch to some of these people you mentioned. So I don't think our approach is the winner takes it all or something. We believe that the more the merrier. Well, because they can't keep running through this vicious cycle, because someone told us today that he's planning to go on appeal again. I know they ensure that they have filed an appeal or something. I don't know how true that is, but you can understand how desperate they are. Supreme Court gave judgment. You went and litigated the same matter at the Federal High Court. Federal High Court has thrown it away. You are going back to Court of Appeal and possibly back to the same Supreme Court. So, but like I said, we are here, and I know the actions in this Nigeria. Abure is only wasting our time, and I'm pretty sure that before the end of this year, we would have this merry-go-round that is embarking on. Would have. I'm waiting for court, because they will not spare him, when he gets there. They won't spare him, because what he's committing is contempt of court. I know that now they have desecrated our judiciary to a significant level, but the Supreme Court of Nigeria has not descended so low to the extent that when this matter gets back to them, they will, and it was unambiguous. It was a very clear judgment. So I am pretty sure that we'll have all these whole things sorted out before the ending of the year. So before this year ends. So I believe that when this is sorted out, especially when it's sorted out by the Supreme Court, I don't think we are going to have a reoccurrence. There are some outside forces who are fueling this, and by the time the Supreme Court makes because I'm predicting that he is going to get back there again, having run to Court of Appeal again, after Friday's judgment. So by the time we test, that at the apex court level, we'll all know where we stand on this issue. But as far as I'm concerned, we are not distracted by that. Where we stand today is that the Federal High Court judgment last week has validated the position of the Supreme Court on this matter, and that's where we are.
Thank you very much. Yes,
I don't know if I helped in. I don't know if I spoke to the question you asked, but because the question is a difficult one for me to answer. So, but I think I don't know if I did justice to that, but I think I tried to do something about that.
yes, absolutely, absolutely. I think what I took from there is the alternative dispute resolution, that conflict resolution path, that the olive branch you talk about, which I think is very healthy. Of course, the more the merrier in every political party. So thank you for that. So my opinion electoral reforms, is that we may need to speak truth to that very angle. And looking at the trajectory and the continuous decline of voter turnout to participate, active citizenship in the electoral process, particularly in coming out to vote, has been on the decline since 99. So what brought a lot of youths within the 2023 elections to come out and vote was the emergence of the principle of the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, His Excellency Peter Gregory Obi. He endeared the youths and the generality of right-thinking Nigerians, I must add. Now, in 2023, the number of registered voters, of course, you know that, about 90 million. And the totality of the votes that were estimated, according to INEC, which, well, not looking at the sharing formula, we believe it was Peter Obi that won the election. But the total is about 21 million in all. 6 million, 6 million, 8 million or thereabout. So 70 million people have not come out to vote, did not come out in 2023. And with the current lack of confidence in the judiciary and also the dancing pattern of our dismal performing legislative arm, you are right, they may not want to act on judicial reforms, being that they themselves may not even have confidence in free and fair elections. But I believe, and some of us believe, that talking about electoral reforms and going for electoral reforms and making sure it remains a narrative is a function of all opposition parties, all civil society organizations, and organizations like COPDEM, which is a protection of democracy. Now, once democracy or democratic institutions have been reduced to like grab, snatch, and run with it, there is a very desperate need for reforms to be made. Critical among them is the issue of, transmission, automatic transmission of results, and independence of INEC itself as an institution, starting from the process that brings about who is atop INEC as the national chairman of that institution. Once the process is not free and fair, people will not come out to vote. And once we have high level of voter apathy, those who have the machinery to rig will do so with impunity, like we have observed in consecutive elections. So I would stand on the fact that we cannot play the ostrich on this very key aspect. It's like having a match between two national football teams, Chelsea, Arsenal, and then you bring the second goalkeeper of Arsenal to be the referee of the game. It will never bring out something good, particularly in the case of Nigeria and how our electoral process is at the moment. So I believe that we should continue to collaborate and bring out the necessity of that. If we keep quiet in order not to dampen the morale of the electorate, they will still not come out, because that's why they have not been coming out in most elections. Most of the reason is The question they will always ask is, will our vote count? Now, as COPDEM is going out, we're at the grassroots. You talk about go and register. The CVR has started. Continual voters registration has started today. The portal of INEC is open, but people are not interested. The question they'll ask you is, would our votes count? So I believe that it is time for Nigerians to come out en masse and register, and not only register, to vote. The implication or the benefit of that is one who has taken his or her time to go out, pay his transportation, register, obtain a voter's card, and actually comes out to vote, will be more likely inclined to stay and defend his or her vote. So I would like to propose that if there is a possibility for all opposition parties, civil society organizations, our traditional rulers, and in fact the laity and the clergy should insist on electoral reforms, being that we have had so many, about three major proposals, Justice Mohammed Uwais and two others after that there is a need for that reform. I believe that Labour Party should also key in, despite the internal artificial crisis created by forces within it. But speaking about it collectively and working towards seeing that those reforms are done remains our duty. That's my thought on that. Thank you very much, Barrister Ken. And due process, I yield the mic.
Yes, thank you, Prince Wampa Jr., the National Chairman of COPDEM.
Thank you so much.
Barrister, you will still want to have a contribution? Do we have other contributors?
No, Chairman has no. Chairman has spoken.
All right.
Let other people contribute as well, yeah, while I listen.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Senator Jobson, you are joining us from Kwara State. You want to have contribution on the electoral reform. What is your perception about what has transpired over the weekend during the by-election? Senator Jobson, you can unmute and speak. And if we have more contributors, you can as well unmute. All right. In the absence of further contribution on electoral reform, I will be looking at the situation via the Canadian courts blacklisted APC and PDP as a terrorist organization. This has actually caused more damage than good to the Nigerian government, the Nigerian image globally, because the situation where two dominant ruling parties have been proscribed as a terrorist organization is dampening the image and morale of the Nigerian people globally. And this calls for concern. When you look at the actual definition of terrorism, you have no reason other than to agree with the Canadian courts. Terrorism means to terrorize, right? If you look at just completed election, you see how citizens were terrorized and being molested, being coerced into having their narrative, having either the ruling party in those states to have their way. And there was a video making the rounds about how core members in Rivers during 2023 general election were being coerced and being punished, being beaten by government security for not allowing rigging in their polling units in Rivers State during 2023 general election. So people are now beginning to reel out those videos as evidence why the ruling party, the APC and the PDP have been proscribed as a terrorist organization by the Canadian courts. And as well, some people also stating the argument that the Nigerian government find it very easy to reward terrorists than rewarding protesters. Protesters are being beaten, are being punished, are being imprisoned for demanding good governance, whereas terrorists are being pardoned, in some cases being rewarded with either government job or scholarship under the guise of repentant Boko Haram and all that. So these are some of the basis of argument that has been ongoing on X, the popular social media platform, where Nigerians are putting up arguments that there is justification for the proscription of APC and PDP as terrorist organization by the Canadian courts. These and various other trending stories have already been looked into, and Nigerians have to oblige the First Lady of Nigeria, Remi Tinubu, for disbursement of 50,000 naira as an investment package for Ekiti women and youths, describing it as inadequate for any form of investment to take place in a country where the local currency, which is the naira, have been brought to almost very, very ineffective currency to stage any form of investment or establishments or running a business. But what business can 50,000 naira, for instance, be able to start? So that she's rather using it as a show off, not as far a business establishment that was being reported in the media. So these and various other issues have been discussed, and we've come a long way. We'll be drawing close the curtain for the day. We thank our guests in the studio who have given us elaborate background, as well make presentation of the National Chairperson of Labour Party in person of Barrister Ken Oswago. We're glad to have you in the studio. And we're looking up to having you subsequently as we progress in the journey.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. The National Chairman, thank you for joining also.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Nigerians.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So we look up to hosting you subsequently when the need arises. The National Chairman of Corporate, thank you for joining us, and various others who are joining on Zoom. Probably your location could not give opportunity for you to unmute and have a contribution. Viewers out there, thanks for listening and being part of tonight's episode of Problem People's Parliament. Here we dissect socio-political issues as they affect the Nigerian people. Basically, we have no any other country to fight for. Nigeria is worth fighting for. Nigeria is blessed with all forms of natural and human resources, and therefore we have a country to protect. We have a country to fight for, and it is our civic responsibility to continue to have this discussion on how to move the country forward. For me in the studio is good night and have a lovely night rest. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Barrister Ken. Good night, everyone.
Yeah, good night.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, due process. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.